Hello everyone and welcome back to Noia Dev, the series that aims to prove that one developer can create a successful MMORPG. My name is Dane, and this week on Noia Dev we're going to be talking about plans for the forest map and making friends. Now if you're like me, a devilishly handsome, smart, charismatic 38-something-year-old dude rocking the finest dad bod pasta and barbecue can give you, then you, like me, probably spend a lot of your time playing games on the interwebs. And if you're lucky, you're playing said games with your friends. Friends you made playing those very same games on the interwebs. This is where I meet and hang out with most of my friends nowadays. And so if Noia is going to help others meet cool people online and make friends like myself, then it needs to have a friends system so you can keep track of them all of the time. Okay, not really. Noia's new friends system was actually pretty easy to whip together, only taking about a day to code and another day to throw a general purpose UI together. It draws a lot from the guild system that comes with MMORPG standard out of the box. Going on a bit of a tangent here, I have not gotten a good chance to look over and add to the guild system yet. I know it works well enough for the current state of the game, but in its current state, the guild system is itself just a glorified friend system. There's no benefit to being in a guild. An issue I plan on addressing, guilds will be able to provide bonuses and or buffs to its members based on specified criteria, whether it be member count or feats performed in game or both. So keep an eye out for that in a future devlog. Back to the friends list though. Adding someone to your friends list is as easy as right-clicking the player in-game and selecting the Add Friend button. The other player will see this request in the Requests tab of their Friends panel. As of this moment, there is no indication that there is a pending friend request, but fear not, I know there should be one, so it's coming. Friendship in Noia is a two-way street. The requested party must accept in order for either player to see each other in the friends list. There are two small issues that I see with this system right now. The first is that players must both be online for the initial transaction. The only way to make a friend request is by right-clicking the player in the game, so it shouldn't be a huge issue, but if the request is missed and the requesting party logs off, the requestee will receive a message that the requester is offline if they try to approve the friend request. Why is this? It's to minimize requests to the database. The only way to affect a player that is offline, like say adding a friend, is to make that change to the player data in the database. Now I went over this issue in a previous devlog, but I'll say it again here. Reading and writing to the database compared to when a player is online in the RAM, orders of magnitude slower. And since Noia is relatively young in its development, I would like to minimize database read-write activity as much as possible, wherever possible. The second issue with this is removing a friend. Because of the fact that I don't want to be accessing the database willy-nilly to change offline player data, removing a friend from one player will not remove the player from the subsequent player's friend list. I can think of a few ways to remedy this, each with their own pros and cons, so I have to keep working on it later. On to the forest map. I don't have much new stuff to show for the forest map per se, but that doesn't mean nothing got done. Quite the contrary. With all the work that Mao put in updating the color palette for Noia and working with me to establish a solid art style, I got to work updating all of the clothing and hair sprites to fit the larger player model. This is actually what I've been mostly working on in the past week, redoing these animations and sprites. Working with Mao taught me a very valuable lesson about using my time as a resource. There are certain things that I am more than happy to spend my time on, and there are certain things that I will put forth a genuine effort to accomplish, but if those things ultimately fall short of my own expectations, I will then reach out and pay a professional. Mao's skills as a professional artist so completely eclipsed my own, it was quite jarring, actually. The man not only grasped the art direction I was going for, but he adapted to and improved upon the theme in real time. Hey, Editor Dane here. Did you know that the money that goes to Mao and his amazing work is almost entirely generated by you guys here on YouTube? Yeah, every cent that Noia has made off of YouTube and itch.io, all of that revenue has gone directly back into making Noia look as fabulous as possible. So if you enjoy the progress that you're seeing here and you want to help out for free, consider subscribing. It helps get the name of Noia out there, and it helps build the MMO community. And it helps get that sweet YouTube money that goes directly back to the artists and creators that have helped make Noia possible. I've never been opposed to commissioning professionals to help fill in the gaps left by my own lack of artistic or creative skill. That being said, I have reached out to a few creative writers for assistance on the quest line of the forest map, namely the quest between the fairies and the sprites. I loved the idea that these two fae races are constantly getting in each other's way without even knowing it, and it seemed to fit right in with the whole fae trickster theme. The problem was I had this fun premise but slammed straight into a wall trying to think of what to do with said premise. Rather than stress over it like I had about art previously, I figured going to a professional sooner rather than later this time was the wisest course of action. On the same topic of going back to a professional, I have gone back to Clockwork Raven to commission the Beehive tile set. I had this tile set off of opengameart.org, and I really like the idea of having a Beehive dungeon in Noia. I already have several quests for it already drawn up, and you guys have already given me a final boss sprite for it, so I just have to do it. The issue is that the tile set does not fit with the art style of Noia at all, and having had to very recently spend an entire week redoing work from the past because of new artwork, I thought it was best to get a final usable tile set now rather than making the Beehive map with an inferior tile set and redoing it again later with a final tile set. However, tile sets are not something that are delivered overnight, so don't expect to see the new dungeon for at least another month or two. And that's it for this week. Mao is actually hard at work on a few other updates that I can't show just yet, so maybe next devlog. In the meantime, maybe I'll work on a couple of other skills to better flesh out the weapons as the player levels up, or maybe a mobile UI. Don't know yet. You'll just have to come back in 2 weeks for the next devlog. I'll see you there. Bye.